Our guest is Dr. Rashad Khalifa, who he devoted most of his life for his own mission. Reading, learning, writing, researching, and also preaching. But he is most remembered by his last computer research, the divine mathematical codes in the Quran, based on number 19. According to the Quran, Surah number 74, verse number 30, عليها 19. Over it are 19. But why 19? That's what Dr. Khalifa will explain in this interview. Please, brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome with me Dr. Rashad Khalifa. Dr. Khalifa, I know I didn't introduce you well enough.
You did very well.
And I think the best way to introduce you is to introduce yourself with your own words.
You did a good job. This is what really counts. I did research in the Quran, and I was blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see the mathematical code in the Quran, and this is really sufficient for an introduction.
Well, I think
you did a good job, so we'll keep it like
thank you. But I think also we are entitled to know how much benefit this. It's great. It's honor actually to have it. But we would like to know how this mathematical code goes and how far it's benefit and beneficial to the Muslim in his own living life. I mean, the Quran itself is miracle, and there's a lot of ways to prove that the Quran is miracle. If you read it in Arabic, you will see a lot of verses applies to itself that the Quran it's miracle, and it's the word, really the word of God. But
well, this is the first physical evidence. The Quran is full of miracles, but all of them are disputable. The linguistic excellence, the scientific miracles, and all these things. The Quran is full of miracles, but the mathematical miracle is indisputable. It's physical, based on physical facts. Like Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim being 19 letters, the number of surahs being 114. All these are physical facts. Like the sun rising from the east, it is indisputable. Unlike the previous miracles. So, and this is in accordance with God's will in Surah 41, verse 53, where God says, "Sanurihim ayatina fil afaq." This is in the future tense. Sanurihim. We will show them our miracles in the horizons and within themselves until they realize that this is the truth. So the miracles of the Quran are increasingly powerful. And then we get to this mathematical miracle, which is described by God Himself as one of the greatest miracles. The surah that we mentioned, 74, alayha 19, the verse 30. And then the verses go on and saying that this is one of the greatest miracles. It says, كَلَّا وَالْقَمَرِ وَاللَّيْلِ إِذْ أَدْبَرَ وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا أَسْفَرَ إِنَّهَا لَإِحْدَى الْكُبَرِ. It is one of the greatest miracles, and this is God's own description of it.
You mean here, the miracles, it's the computer age, right? That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I noticed,
well, the computer
I noticed, excuse me for that, I noticed you used God, you didn't use Allah, which the Quran always says Allah, because the Quran came in Arabic, it didn't come in English or in Persian, it came in Quran and Arabic.
Actually, I did say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
yeah,
at least one
but
time.
I noticed you say God.
It depends on what language you speak.
Yeah,
if you speak English, you have to say God. If you speak Arabic, you have to say Allah.
But we all, yeah, okay.
Because as you know, you're from Egypt, and you know the Egyptian Copts use the word Allah. Say Insha'Allah, say MashaAllah. And, some of them are named Abdullah.
Yes.
So Allah is the Arabic word and has nothing to do.
Using God, it's already okay.
Of course it's okay. It depends what language you use. If you meet somebody in the street and say Allah, here in the United States, some people think Allah is a man who's named Allah, or Allah is a rock somewhere. And this is an actual happening. My son was in a class where they taught that Allah is a rock. My son had to object.
But we have nothing to do with this because, you know, there's a lot of...
What I mean is, it depends on what language you use. If you use English, you have to say God. If you use French, you have to use de. If you use Farsi, you have to use Khuda. Okay. If you use Arabic, you use Allah.
Let's go back again also to the computer. I would like to know how far it's beneficial to the human being. You know, I am a Muslim, yes. And you discovered that the computer age discovered that the Quran.
You're asking about the role of the mathematical code.
Yes, to the Muslims.
The Muslims and the non-Muslims.
To the Muslims.
This is mentioned in the Quran immediately after the number 19.
Okay.
It says, it gives you 5 reasons for the number 19. It says, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا عِدَّتَهُمْ, that we made the number for the following reasons. Number 1, فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, to disturb the disbelievers. فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, to prove their disbelief. لِيَسْتَيْقِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ. This is the number 2 reason. Is to make the believers among the Christians and the Jews certain that this book, the Quran, is from God. يَسْتَيْقِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ. Number 3, وَيَزْدَادَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِيمَانًا. So the people who believe that the Quran is from God before the number 19, without the number 19, when they see the mathematical code, they will increase in faith. يَزْدَادَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِيمَانًا. And the 4th reason, وَلَا يَرْتَابَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. If any of the Muslims or the Christians or the Jews have any doubt in their heart that this book, the Quran, is from God, the mathematical code will help remove all this doubt.
But there is...
Number 5 in the verse says, وَلِيَقُولَ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ وَالْكَافِرُونَ مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا. And to expose the hypocrites and the disbelievers, they will say, so what? This is not important. So these are the 5 reasons that God Himself gives as the role of the number 19 or the mathematical code in the Quran.